This video will show you how to repair a rip in a spinnaker. This is a nylon ripstop fabric. Have you ever had a rip in your spinnaker from getting caught on rigging or going underneath the boat and getting ripped on the centerboard? We'll show you how to repair it. When repairing a spinnaker, you want to try to use the same weight fabric as close as possible. Deb's going to apply double-sided tape or seam stick around the perimeter of the rip, leaving approximately a 1/4 inch of the rip exposed so that she can cut it after the patch has been applied. We'll show you that later on in the video. So this double-sided seam stick will follow the rip all the way down its length. Then she'll apply another row along the opposite side of the rip. Deb's using a 1/2 inch basting tape here. You could use a 1/4 inch basting tape as well. You'll notice that when Deb's applying the basting tape, she's being careful to keep all wrinkles out. She'll peel off the transfer paper, revealing the glue, and then apply her patch. Patches are typically approximately 1 inch away from the rip, so she'll just follow that line of the 1/2 inch basting tape. So she's just being sure that the basting tape is covered thoroughly with this patch. You can obviously see the patch is much larger than the rip. You'll see her cutting it to size once it's been applied. Notice also that all wrinkles are carefully worked out. The beauty of using a double-sided tape like this is that if you don't get the panels to lay nice and flat, or I should say the repair patch to lay flat, you can always unstick it and reapply it. Now she's trimming the panel to size with a pair of sharp scissors. Okay, so she's got a 1 inch perimeter along the top side and also that far side. Making sure it lays flat. Now she'll take the transfer paper off of the second row of basting tape, and she'll carefully baste the patch on top, trying to keep the rip as close to the opposite side as possible, and also trying to keep out all wrinkles. We're going to show this whole process here. Notice how she's being careful to not spread the rip apart. We want the rip to be right on top of itself, or right next to itself, I should say. You'll also notice that she didn't peel up all of the transfer tape for this application. She's doing it a few inches at a time. This double-sided tape is aggressive enough to cause problems if the panel were to lay on areas that you weren't prepared to baste together. You can always unpeel it and rebaste it, but it saves time by doing it a few inches at a time, as Deb is showing here. Take your time. You want to make sure that everything's tight and there are no wrinkles. See there, she had to peel it up because she wasn't happy with it, and then she'll reapply the pressure to the patch, which just simply baste it in place again. The beauty of using double-sided tape. Once we're happy with that, we'll trim the patch to size. She'll fold the fabric up and cut along that side, leaving approximately a 1 inch perimeter around the rip on this side as well. We'll not show all this. Here we are coming to the end, and we'll trim that section as well. We're going to put a small piece of white stay tape here, so we'll just trim it so that it's just a little bit inside that edge. And there we are, ready for sewing. Okay. Now we're sewing this up on the professional sewing machine with a 4-point stitch. Obviously it does not need to be a 4-point stitch. It can be a standard zigzag with just a 2-point zig, or it could be a straight stitch sewing machine, to be honest with you, but usually sails are repaired with a zigzag stitch. She does a little bit of reversing at the beginning, and she'll sew along the length all around the perimeter. We'll not show all of that. She does a little bit of adjustment to tension here because this is a fairly light fabric. When Deb gets to the end here, where the patch goes over the top of the stay tape, she'll do some reversing there as well. Then she'll do the same thing to the opposite side and short end. Once that's done, we'll take white nylon stay tape, fold it in half, apply double-sided tape to it, and baste it where that patch sits on the foot of this sail to cover that stay tape and to reinforce it there. And as you can see, Deb has to peel it up and reapply it to make sure that it's along the crease that she's created in this stay tape. And she peels it over on the other side and baste it in place. Now we'll take it over the sewing machine and sew its length as well. Alright, now we're done. Now we'll turn the sail over to where the rip was, and we'll trim around the perimeter of the rip to make it nice and neat. Anytime you rip a ripstop spinnaker sail, typically it's left a little bit fuzzy, so by trimming it like Deb is doing here, it makes it look nice and neat. The rip in the spinnaker has now been repaired. That's how easy it is to repair a rip in a spinnaker. I'm Mayor Grant with Say It Right. Thanks for watching this video.